And the second referee, Juan Carlos Saavedra from Colombia. Well, the Austrians are here and they're enjoying a dream run. And Christoph Dressler, 28 years old, from Feldbach, make his way onto the show court. It's his 12th season playing professional beach volleyball, and he's playing with Alexander Hubert from Klagenfurt, who many of you will know is one of the homes of beach volleyball in Austria, and if not the world. Some huge events in Klagenfurt, a big party town for beach volleyball. But a huge tune to come into. The number 3 seeds from Brazil, undefeated so far. A massive moment for Georges Wanderley into the arena, an age group champion, a former world junior champion, and his partner, Andre, a world champion with Evandro, funny enough, in Austria in 2017. Be interesting to see if that's a good omen for the 27-year-old from Vila Velha. 8th season, 57 tournaments, 3 wins for Andre. Well, this team took a 3rd in Ostrava earlier on in the season. The Brazilians beat the world champions from Russia, Vyacheslav Krasilnikov and Oleg Stoyanovski, for that bronze in a competition that was won by the Dutch pairing of Blauer Muysen. But it will be Austria to get us underway. They've played 19 tournaments together, 2 wins for Hubert Dressler, albeit not on this stage. This is a new place for them. They won the 2-star in Qidong in China in 2019 and also in Siem Reap, Cambodia. But now they're looking to win their first 4-star event. But this will be a tussle. It will be a battle as Georges Wanderley looks full of emotion at this moment in time, playing for Brazil, in front of a home crowd. It will be Georges to serve, who's 6'3". There's a handling error against Dressler here, who looks very unhappy. It's a lift that's been given, and it seems as if he feels hard done by. Let's have another look. Well, the first referee suggesting the ball was taken too low. Brazil will take the 3 point, that's for sure. And for Georges, who's won 2 age group championships, one of them the World Under-21 Championships in Lucerne, where himself and Arthur Morani are also playing in this competition, beat Jose Guachola and Jose Rubio from Mexico. They're having a good career as well. Big block from Brazil. It's the perfect start. That second, well, the World Under-19 World Championships in Porto 2014, Wanderley and Arthur Morani beat Oleg Plotnitsky, who's playing professional indoor volleyball now in Italy. But looking to really break onto the big time, Georges Wanderley. And funny enough, he'll have a chance to play against Victor Felipe, who he won the Espino 2-star with, if they win this game and qualify for the final after a fine performance from Victor Felipe. And Renato against Italy in the previous semi-final. Could not have started any better. And the crowd have been here all day long, making an incredible amount of noise. Hubert Dressler still yet to score. It's big moments for them. They can't allow Brazil to get too far away, the 7 seeds. This time off the hands. The crowd think the block's gone in, but Sandy Hubert just works one off the block. Such a great career and partnership with Robbie Seidel. And now Robbie Seidel playing with Philip Valla. And everything Brazil do at the moment, untouchable. Dig from Brazil and then in transition. Very, very efficient so far. In a week where we've seen some new faces playing together when it comes to Brazilian beach volleyball. Partnerships sometimes change like the weather post-Olympic Games, and it's a chance to see Alvaro play with Evandro and Guto with Alisson, and well, at the moment we're all unsure of what Bruno's doing, the Olympic gold medalist from Rio 2016, as he's recovering from an operation, so we wish him all the best. But for Andre and George, they're making the most of trying to get some more world ranking points. Over the top of the block this time from George, very good. Sets a little bit inside, but he goes off the hands of Dressler. And can Andre and George be that team to lead Brazil to Paris 2024? They certainly have the ability, and they're showing that right now. As mentioned earlier, they would have qualified for Tokyo if they didn't have 2 teams already above them. Although the choices from the Brazil camp were very early that Alisson, Alvaro, Evandro, Bruno were going to go to the Olympic Games. Obviously just a split afterwards. Andre and George, that one team who have stayed together. High play, sharp back angle. It's good serving from Austria. Moving Andre to the middle of the court, making it tough to access the angles. Actually moved quite short in the end. Runs out of room all the same. This time, good passing from Brazil, set slightly off the net. Chance for Hubert to chase down the line in transition to get back to 2. It's a big swing from Hubert, but is there a touch? No. Opportunity for Austria goes astray. Brazil keep the 4-point lead. And for Brazil, they've played here once together. They took a 9th in Itapema in 2019. First time for Hubert Dressler here. Passes off the net from Hubert again, so the break is made, and it's a smart swing from Hubert, who's 5'11". Dressler at 6'6", and Andre Loyola at 6'7", 2 meters, 1 centimeter. George Wanderley at 6'3" as well. So Hubert, the smallest player on court by some distance. George is on fire though. Hubert goes to the line. It's a really late move, but it's exquisite from George. Shows the line is open to Hubert. He takes the bait, but it's one thing showing the bait. It's another thing to make that touch at that time and keep that amount of control on it. Not easy whatsoever. Takes timing and technique to keep that ball alive. Austrians took a 9th place finish in Rubavu at the 2-star events. And now they're out of system chasing. It's an overset taken easily for Brazil. Everything going their way so far. A superb start to this semi-final for them. 10-5 they lead. George with the serve. Hubert passing off the net. They have to try and work the ball on once more. Oh, hat's gone. Wide play to the wing. Swap block. Hey, you may lose your hat, Andre, but you don't lose your feet or your hands. Unbelievable work. That one might have hurt a little bit. It's Dressler that's hurting. Austria running these wider plays. If there's one Brazilian team that understand that way of playing, it is Andre and George, because they run some of these systems themselves. Well, for Brazil, they're undefeated. They had a win against Kosti Novak and Mark Tizar in Estonia in the previous round in 3 sets. This is one-way traffic. They've beaten Taylor Crabb and Taylor Sander last night on the show court as well. Big swap block. Great adaptation from Andre to see it and move to it as well. But that win against Crabb and Sander in their first international tournament together, Taylor Sander certainly looks like he can adapt to beach volleyball nicely. Looked very high in that blocking position. Sander at 6'4", but had leaps. Also wins for Brazil against France. Gunziaye and Youssef Klou. And also Ukraine, Popov and Reznik, who came through the qualifier. Back on the angle from Andre. Terrifying start this from Brazil. They want to make this their competition with 4 teams in the gold medal matches in the men's and women's competition. It's a great start for that. Hubert Dressler, well, they've defeated Huster and Sven Winter in their opening game. They played some great beach volleyball throughout. Wins against Prevshner and Sova as well. Belarus, and then a win against Denmark, who had a fine competition. Denmark to leave with a 5th. Christopher Abel and Jakob Brink. It's a superb start for Brazil. George was motivated for this one before the first whistle. Now he's finding his feet. Andre with the serve, right down the gut. Austria need to find something from somewhere here. Brazil having all of this their own way.
Agora esconde o celular, deixa a luz ligada, esconde ele, só esconde, é surpresa, só vai mostrar a luz quando ele for fazer a onda. 1, 2, 3, vai!
Special moments for Brazil here. The crowd in the background doing their bit. Timeout's come at a good time for Austria as the serve goes out the back, and that win against Abel and Brink was a big one for Austria, but Denmark had come past Evandro and Alvaro Filo, which is probably the biggest upset of the competition so far. Yesterday was certainly the day for Abel and Brink. Austria make another point. For Denmark, it's a huge, huge moment for Peter Lea, who's the head coach, and the development of the sport in Denmark. Obviously did very well. Martin Olsen and Peter Kildegard took a 9th in Doha in 2014. Biggest results since then for Danish beach volleyball. Off the hands this time. And there's nothing that Austria can do to tame Brazil here. Was there a touch? Yes, there was. Clearly. Serving short on Dressler. Sat in the pocket. Good chance for Brazil to make a dig, but it's too heavy from Dressler. And as we hear DMX around the arena, sometimes we hear that for Sandy Hubert. Another good bit of play from Brazil, skipping out, driving in on the cross court. Beating Hubert this time. Serve through the center. It's a good serve from Brazil. Like, those serves certainly ask a question of the reception. If the left-sider takes it, it's very difficult for them to access cross-court. If the right-sider takes it, they start to lose their angles and they're brought through the center of the court. So that one angle from the sideline to the inside hands is certainly one that a lot of teams will use. Serves into the net this time. 8-point game now. 3 will do it for Brazil to take the opening set. And they have been incredibly consistent. George serving. Smart from Hubert. Almost has to turn his whole body around to change direction of the ball. Knows exactly where the space is. Very difficult to pat that ball back on the cut shot. No wonder George is saying well done. There's a net touch anyway from Andre. The Austrians, well, they last played in a 4-star in Ostrava back in June. There's one for Dressler. It's a big one as well. 2 in a row for Austria. Difference is now 6, and there's a real key opportunity. They might not win this set. If they do, it will be a minor miracle, but they'll start to grow in momentum and grow some confidence for set 2 at least. And hey, who knows what's going to come our way. Austria could come all the way back. Good from Dressler. He certainly is watching a lot closer to the Brazilian attacks, but it's a fast play for Brazil. They're using the 2 balls. They're starting to adapt to the modern game very nicely. Dressler the target from the left side, driving in. There's another handling error. It's a double touch this time against Sandy Hubert. And the set has just run away from Austria. You can see that he goes to wipe the sweat from his hands. Hubert after setting the ball. No complaints on that decision, but the first set has gone the way of Brazil. 21-12. One-way traffic has been relentless. They've been solid inside out. They've served nicely. They've made some great defensive plays. And Austria have it all to do here. A strong inside hand from Andre. And that's something that sometimes goes astray from a blocker. They concentrate so much on the outside hand, they forget to be really strong with the inside. Strong from Andre, great from Brazil. And it could well be an all-Brazilian final in the men's and women's competition. Austria still have a little bit of time to change that, though. Set 2 coming up very, very soon. Fans are loving it because all they're seeing is Brazil win games today. Well, that first set just rocketed by. And it's more good serving from Brazil. Hubert trying to force the second ball attack from a very difficult angle to track that ball in. It was only ever going to go to the cross court. The question was, could Hubert keep the ball in front of him to turn it? The answer was no. Dressler again the target, this time from the center. The pass has gone astray. And Andre is there yet again. What a performance he's having at the net. Austria struggling to find a way. He's signaling where the ball is going before making a read, always watching through. It's a late move. He understands that the shot is coming from Dressler. And it's the passing, really, that's making Austria suffer at the moment. That's better. Bump set from Hubert, high line, and the game becomes a lot more easier with the first pass into the first third of the court, somewhere in front of Dressler. Well, the Austrians took a 25th place finish. They qualified for the Doha 4-star, the first event back after the break of the pandemic, but 17th in Cancun. They travelled out for the third hub event and qualified from 4th place. Andre yet to really put a foot wrong here. They've been a top 10 finishing team 4 times in their last 6 events, Brazil. Obviously at the moment, a lot of the top 20 in the world missing. Brazil currently at 25, Austria at 36. Although they might be 25 in the world. Wonderly and Loyola are the third seeds for this competition. Only Taylor Crabb, Daniela Lupo and Adrian Gavira are players here in the world's top 20 at the moment, but all playing with new or different partners. Gavira playing with Huerta at the moment, while Pablo Herrera gets fixed up and ready to rumble for what would be Olympics number 6 if Spain could qualify again. They only need 13 competitions to become the most experienced team in World Tour history in terms of events entered, Herrera Gavira, but they are going for another Olympic Games. Hubert cuts back. Very good from Sandy Hubert. And Austria are back to 1 here. Perfect move into the line. One thing making the dig, it's another thing making the point in transition. Two ball. And we all see it so clearly, but it's more difficult when you're on the receiving end of it. But also, for George here. To hit the line or to get the ball back to the right side is the toughest swing he's got available. He has to be really good with his feet and also really open his arm up, and he does both very nicely to take on the defender. Hubert this time from the right side. Sitting on the line is George Wanderley. Chance in transition for the Brazilian. And he's completely in rhythm off the defense. Pump of the chest, thank you very much. But he's in the perfect spot. Hubert sees the block go into the angle and he doesn't want a slice of it. Now Dressler would like to find a side out. George is there once more. He has to bring this down, Andre. It's a fantastic transition set. Ball's audaciously high, and then he gets a reaction. What a set from George Wanderley, and then back on one. No way, yes way. Can you even believe it? I mean, great defense. Transition set was world class. Just reactions really from Andre to keep his hands up and tomahawk it. And they really had to work hard through that phase of the rally, Brazil. And it's a standing pop shot roll back on one. Call it what you wish. Brazil by 4 again, everything going their way. Uh-oh. Watch out. Service pressure in abundance. And that one is still bouncing back towards Rio. Timeout, Austria. The score says it's a 3-point game, but feeling is it's slightly more than that. Austria have it all to do here.
Pessoal, temos Rapaz do céu, cheio de gente famosa aí. Será que a gente consegue ver no telão quem de famoso está aí? Bota alguém no telão aí pra gente ver. Aí, quem é Hulk? Aí. Isso, quem é Hulk? Fala que esse rapaz chapéu Hulk. Aplausos para o nosso Indiana Jones. Só mais um, rapidinho, mais um dá tempo. E ó, quem é esse aí, Hulk? É aquele que fez de Volta para o Futuro, Marty McFly. Aplausos para ele. Vamos pro jogo.
Well, something has to give here for Austria. They're 5 down, 1 set down, and it's more blocking. Dressler's brought into the middle of the court. Has to go really for the chip line there. There's no other option. Ball slightly inside. He's reaching for it. And they've got the read on Austria-Brazil at this moment in time. 6 points the difference. Surely there's no way back for Austria here, but who knows? Error from Dressler. Austria is sure that one's gone in. Brazil, they'll argue. The referee got down very quickly then. Credit where credit is due. That was some fast moves from the first referee. Well, there you have it. It was rightfully contested in the end from Hubert Dressler. Now Christoph Dressler with the ball in hand. Has to go high risk to try and win this game. Rightfully so, gets after it, but misses the sideline in the meantime. It's a great serve Really is very unfortunate. Trying to rip the sideline across the face of Brazil. Serve from middle to middle, reverse play for Austria, high line to go with it. It's a smart play for Dressler, just shifting the block one way, and for George Wanderley, he has to try and make up his mind whether Dressler's going to try and crack that one back cross court or chip it to the line. Chip it to the line he does and scores. One thing defenders don't like doing is shifting one way and then having to shift back to make the dig. Slightly out of system for Brazil. There's a chance taken from Dressler. And have a look at the reactions. They've had to dig so deep, Austria, to even give themselves a chance here. Good serving. Sometimes beach volleyball is a game of inches. They've managed to get Brazil passing off the net, and with that it brings opportunity. Serve to the line again, kicking off this time. Andre, the dig is there once more. Chance for Hubert. What a run this is for Austria. And maybe this is their chance. They're still 3 behind, but they're serving Brazil out of rhythm. Because of that, they made a block, and then they made a dig. Serving on the long angle towards Andre, who goes high. Hubert is there again. He just sticks an arm out. It's such good defense. There's no way he's ever getting 2 hands to it. George does get 2 hands to it. The set is very tight, though. Has to try and make something of that, George Wanderley. Brazil are chasing a touch. It's not being given. That first bit of defensive work was incredible. Playing defense is almost impossible to always play with 2 hands, although you'd want to if you can. Timeout from Brazil, because in my book, that's a 4-point swing to Austria. And now it gets on the fascinating side of the contest, because Brazil looked comfortable, didn't they? But you can never count out Sandy Hubert and Christoph Dressler. Maybe the next generation of George Wanderleys watching on. Hubert. It's probably the perfect timeout for Brazil, and it's the perfect outcome from the timeout that the missed serve follows. They built good momentum though, Austria, and with that will come some confidence towards the mid-end of this second set. Dressler passes off. He's underneath the ball a little bit there. What a swing. To run the back set, having passed off the net, life becomes slightly more difficult, but also becomes more difficult for the opposition in some ways too. Straight through the seam. And Austria have got their way right back into this contest. They'll be delighted with the character shown so far, but Brazil have done so much good work. They found a way of stopping Andre, that's for sure, but not George. The cover from Brazil. Disciplined. The block was almost too good from Dressler. Back into the centre of the court, and on the fadeaway, George Wanderley suffer that one. Technical timeout, 12-9, all to play for here. Well, there's certainly time left for a comeback. They'll know just playing point by point. Gradually they can start to apply the pressure on Brazil. They've certainly felt it in this set. It was just a very slow start from Austria, but since that slow start, they've started to push from the baseline, made some blocks, and even that last side out from Andre was due to a cover because Dressler made a great block. It was slightly unlucky for Dressler. Hubert the target. Reverse set now for Hubert, but Andre is there. That's absolutely humongous from the former world champion. Low, late, solid, penetrating the net. No getting past the Brazilian blocker there. So close, but well, Dressler smiling about it. Wonder if Brazil will be, but you don't get much closer than that. Actually went over the net for a good period of time. Better, so much better to service pressure for Austria. Certainly making a game of this one now as the swing from the left side goes out the back. Huber's float serve is causing some worry here for the Brazilians. Looking for the high line. To no avail. A break here and Austria right back in business. A change of sides as Andre goes on the right, but Dressler is there now. It's the break they needed. Brazil changed sides. The outcome is still the same. Point for Austria. Jumping inside out. Didn't really have any line, didn't have any sharp angles available, just hitting where he's facing there. Andre, and Dressler's waiting for him. Huber's serving. Dressler's blocking. The difference here in set number 2. There is nothing available for Andre here. There's a chance to go all square. They take it. What a comeback this has been. Talking 5 or 6 points down. When you're already trailing by 1-0, a lot of teams would give up, especially against Brazil, in Brazil. But they bided their time. "20 seasons for Hubert on the World Tour. Certainly knows a thing or two about this game. There's a rip to the line from Andre. They still lead by 1. Squeezed. Well, the good news for Brazil and for Austria is that they're both making stops defensively. It's just their side out that is sometimes struggling. And now it's Andre who makes another block. Both teams struggling in the side out area of the game. But when it comes to making blocks and defenses, absolutely no problem at all. And Brazil will be happy serving. Short ball and Dressler once more. That ball's going out wide and it's been cut back. Everything looking to the line. Everything was saying that ball would go to the line for Dressler, and I think he knew that before being able to cut the ball back on the cross court. Turned with the body. We could all see where it's going, but it was done so late. It was unstoppable. George Wanderlei looking for his first major gold medal at senior level this weekend, having won those 2 junior world championships. That will help the cause. For Andre, well, he won Team of the Year with Evandro, was the FIVB Tour champion. And actually won here in 2018 with Evandro, beating Mulsolem in the final. But that was the last big win he's had, Andre Loyola, having won in Vienna the World Championships and also won the Fortaleza Open, so he's only won once out of Brazil. This is a must-win point for Austria. Hubert goes over line superbly. Good game, this one now. Shows a lot of line before cutting it back away from the body. It's almost a role reversal with Andre. And then same picture, second time around for Hubert. Shoots high line. Miss serve. Well, that tells us a few things. Hubert's float serve has been a thorn in the side of Brazil here in set 2, but a miss serve will be a relief to them. A, it means they don't have to receive that serve again, but secondly, it means that they're one closer to 21, but a miss serve lets Austria back in again. Deep serving, good passing, and the second ball has been spotted early. And once again, the feet from George, world class, to work that away from the block. Hubert has a problem here. Not sure what that is. Maybe he thinks the ball was out, but Brazil by 2, and that was a clutch play at a clutch time for George Wanderley. 2/3 in a second on the World Tour for Wanderley. Turn back angle from Dressler. Change of ends, and you really have to take your hat off to this Austrian pairing because they looked down and out at the beginning of set 2, 6 points down, but point by point, they've really got their way back into this game, and they've given themselves and their country a real good shot here. Drama's just unfolding. That's 2 missed serves in a row from Hubert though. Partly adrenaline maybe. Hubert's serving has been one of the main reasons that Austria are back in this set, but George Wanderley now. Hubert in system from the inside. Big side out gets us back to 1. This is getting tight, getting tense. Brazilians have only had 1 3-setter this week against Kosti-Novak and Martizar. Only 1 3-setter for Austria as well against Preschner and Sova from Germany, the 10 seeds. But Brazil now have match points. The crowd are on their feet. They're going to have 2 opportunities if they need them. 2017 world champion Dressler serving. Hubert from the inside. It's into the net. Brazil win the semi-final, and it will be an all-Brazil final in the men's and the women's competition. A phenomenal performance. And George Wanderley is looking to win his first major event on the FIVB Beach Volleyball World Tour, having been World Junior Champion previously. And for Andre Loyola, he's looking for his first win at this level since 2018. where he won right here with Evandro. Well, they still have to come past Victor Felipe and Renato, who were impressive earlier on in their semi-final matchup against Italy's Daniele Lupo and Alex Ranieri. But Austria, well, you have to give them a lot of compliments on the way that they came back in set two. Hubert just trying to twist one back on the baby line. Delighted. The number 3 seeds have defeated the number 7 seeds. A strong performance from Andre and Jorge. Of course, the Brazilian flag is flying. A, we're in Brazil, but B, both finals will be all Brazilian tomorrow, so the crowd will have to figure out who to cheer for and who to root for, but they'll be happy. It's a good problem to have for Brazil and their fans. And it's a very, very good evening in the office for Andre and Jorge. There's the confirmation of the score. Well, they won the first set fairly comfortably, 21-12. The second set, Austria certainly made a good fight of it, 21-18. As we get ready to go courtside with Leo to hear from our winners.
How did you feel about this win right now?
I'm happy, and I don't. I didn't play my best. I didn't play my best, inside out especially. We won this game in serve and block, and it is this. And George helped me a lot every game, and so thank you, George, and everybody. And I'm very happy. I won in 2018 here, and it's very special. So I want to do again. Yeah.
So how does it feel playing behind his block?
For me, it's very easy. I didn't do much this game. As he said, we won the game on service and blocking, and he did almost everything on the game. And I'm really proud of our team. We didn't play our best, as he said, on the side out, but we managed to get the win, so it's very important.
So how do you guys think about improvement for tomorrow?
Tomorrow we play against a team we train every day, so it will be a home final for us. We do that final every day on João Pessoa, and we are really happy. Our coaches especially, they said no matter what, we already won, so it'll be really hard. We'll try to do our best for tomorrow.
And how does it feel playing in the crowd of Itapema?
Yes, it's very special, especially for me. We played in 2017 in a Brazilian tour, a final, and Itapema is very special for us, and we're very happy to play here.
It's like a third player.
Yeah.
Valeu.